Welcome to another exciting Breezin with Bierman, early for the holidays. We're taping.
I see that Santa has given you a new nose.
Nothing's new here, and the jokes are stale. But
Okay, Pinocchio.
listen, you slash wannabe. Anyway, today we have, besides the preamble, we have tech entrepreneurs, local legend Glenn Paul from Clancy Paul. Those who lives in the Princeton, Central New Jersey would know him. Walter Krieg, friend of the show, a tech entrepreneur, giant in his own right. They have a new interesting product they're going to talk about for Tela. We also have the roundtable and Raya's presentation, what's trending, among other things. Some people got caught in traffic, or one guest is stuck on the New York State Thruway, won't make it. I want to announce my new bromance with Chris.
Now, does that happen to David Letterman or the guys with real talk shows?
Well, I heard that you might have struck it big. That's not English. You struck it big. You should give us a helicopter to fly our guests.
I'll give you a one-way ticket to Palookaville.
Anyway, he doesn't want to talk about it. Anyway, I have a new bromance with a man named Chris Nessie. He directed, put together my Lisa, and Colcham.
Every time you meet a guy, it's a bromance.
and also he did my Princeton Street interviews where I was asking people if they knew about the show or me, and only 2 out of 45 people knew about the station. It's kind of sad after 12 years, the station's been kind of running. 16.
And the other 2 people had filed restraining orders against you.
But these are great. I hope more people will watch it. We're going to integrate it into the show. Lisa was interesting to talk to. I want to thank Dulce Vita Media and John Rossi, DJ Productions, for giving us the pass for that. I also interviewed Anna Navarro, a political junkie. She's on CNN and Fox, and she had a lot of interesting things to say. I want to thank Woodrow Wilson School, Rose Huber, Miss Donahue, Assistant Dean Donahue, for all that stuff too. And I remain, even though my hair's kind of weird because I was wearing a cap, I remain good looking. Thank you very much. Anything you want to say in 30 seconds or less or more?
No.
Kurt?
Your wig's off, though.
Kurt, his humor is unoriginal. His attempts at spontaneity, flag, like a limp erection.
How has this show progressed over this last year? It's the end of the year, and
you tell me.
What contacts have you made? How are you getting further in the world?
I'm not going to talk to you about that because you
or
start with a
the
negative.
Same place as ever.
You start with a negative and with bitter cynicism. And you're not objectively asking me that question or wanting a deeper depth of knowledge. From your own cauldron of inner psyche pain, this comes from. So I can't help you out.
I just don't want you to be an ostrich with in denial that you have no life, and that this show here is just an exercise in masturbation.
That's something you do chronically, and I don't know about that.
How do you know that?
Well, Kurt was drinking one. No, because he's married now. I didn't want Sally to find out. But again, sometimes he was too weak, and his hand said no. But that's another story. Anyway, so catch the show. It should be a fun hour. The roundtable is going to be much longer.
You're in denial.
Yeah, go to Egypt. That's where the Nile is. Thank you. Adam Bierman back again. I'm going to be really serious because we have an exciting guest. We have Glenn Paul from Clancy Paul. You're in my inner psyche, even though I never knew you, because you guys always advertise that new thing, computers. You're a legend in the Central New Jersey area. We have Walter Krieg, who's going to be CFO of this new company we're about to talk to, or your CTO.
COO, I think Brad's going to take over the technology side.
Yeah. And we have Brad Murray, CTO. And let me start with Glenn Paul, back to him again. Again, I knew you, but I didn't know you. I think my dad knew Mr. Clancy. And you guys, early on, what did you do? You were the first company in Princeton actually to have computers, repair computers.
Well, we actually weren't. We were about the 4th computer store or the 5th to open in this area. There was
you
Computerland.
Advertised quite well then, because I only knew you.
Prodigy. Well, we were concerned whether or not we were going to make it at the beginning, which is always the way it is. And after 9 months, the accountants pulled me in and they said, you're technically bankrupt. And I said, I think it's working. I think it's going to work. And we finished the first year with $1 million in sales, and we made a little money on that. And and the rest is history. We eventually became the largest distributor in all of New Jersey.
And now we cut to the 2000s. You meet Walter Krieg. I don't know when, Brad, you can cut it anytime.
Same time.
And Dot Photo, which is pretty successful in the area. How is Dot Photo doing? That's kind of like Flickr or Dropbox. And
What Dot Photo came out of a little project that I had put together about a year earlier, which may have been the first photo development site on the web, and it was called Photos by Web. Photosbyweb.com, I think it was.
Photos by Net.
Photosbynet, yeah, .com. And we got so many orders that we couldn't fill them. And so we had to close the site down and raise a little bit of money and put up a lab. And I met Walter, who was running Info First, and Walter knew Brad, and Brad is a mad genius, and Brad has kept this thing going with all kinds of innovation over the years. And we've looked at, again, at a lot of difficult situations. I mean, about 10 years ago, our board was telling us that we were going to be out of business because the cost of storage was going to drive us out of business. The cost of storage. And I'm looking at this thing and I'm thinking, people really like to share photos. That's what they want to do. We had carrier groups in the Pacific that were sharing photos with their families at home. And they weren't printing photos. And all the board wanted to do was print more.
right. They didn't see the paradigm shift would happen.
The prints are going down and the storage is going up. This is going to kill you. I said, yeah, but what about Moore's Law?
Right.
The cost of this is eventually going to go down.
It has, right.
And first of all, Brad figured out how to set up our own storage, and that saved us enough money to stay in the game. And then he eventually moved us to Amazon, which is 99.999%, and that's apparently what's driving the profits of Amazon and making it this terrific.
Amazon's making a profit now, finally.
And it's in their storage that people think that they're really going to rule the world, and we use them because they're excellent and their prices keep improving.
And they keep your prices low because you have the Costco model. You said.
Right, we have this Costco model at Dot Photo now, and we looked around. We said, okay, well, how are you going to do this? And what's going to happen to Shutterfly? They got to sell. You can go there second. Yeah, buy. Well, we don't want to have that experience. So we have this Costco model for $19.99 a year. You get free shipping on any order over $10. You get wholesale prices, 8-cent 4x6s, 57-cent 5x7s, and 99-cent 8x10s, and all kinds of other stuff at wholesale prices. And all the storage you want, 20 megabyte per image uploads, the best kind of service that we can put together. And it's that $20, that little relatively small fee, that keeps us going, and people who are enthusiastic about photography get a terrific experience.
And I've seen this. It's hassle-free, which I like. Hassle-free, so
yeah, right.
There's no hoops.
Because we don't have to go sell.
Right.
We're already set.
Now you have the new exciting Fotella, and that's where you can share photos. You described it before. Maybe you can, and how you all came together with this idea. Anyone can chime in at any time. You want to lead off?
Okay, well, a couple of years ago, we were looking at the situation. We said, nobody's that excited about Dot Photo. I still love Dot Photo. I talk to customers every day. But the business has changed. You have Snapchat that's going public at a $25 billion valuation, right? And we said, what can we do to reinvent photography again? We did it once. What do we think that people want to do? And after a lot of conversations, we thought, people are when we first started, it was all about privacy. Remember that, Brad? Mm-hmm. Everybody, I have to keep my pictures secret.
That seems ludicrous to me.
It does now. It does now.
Put it on Facebook and you complain about privacy.
Well, worse than that. Some people say that 30% of all photos are selfies, and that's just people. Here I am. I want to be noticed. I want to be seen.
Document my narcissism. But anyway, yeah.
Well, but that goes to all of us, whoever we are. We want to be known. We want to be appreciated. I guess that's why we're filming this tonight, right?
Right.
So we said, well, what if people at a party could just take their pictures and instantly see each other's pictures? And the big problem in photos is, like 99.9% of them are never annotated. Nobody ever says, oh, here I am at the picnic, here I am doing this. They're just taking the pictures.
The descriptive tag.
People are taking over 1 trillion pictures a year now, so there's nothing to tag them. But if you were to take a picture with your phone right now, on Fotella, among others, but if you take a picture on Fotella, you'll get the time that it was taken, and the place that it was taking, the GPS coordinates. And we thought, well, what if we have an algorithm, and Brad put together this wonderful algorithm that kind of meshes time and place and allowed that to be searched and have photos self-organizing. So you're having a wedding and you say, hey, I would appreciate if everybody would take their pictures here.
Can you spell the website out? What's
Yeah,
going to be underneath it?
It's Fotella,
.com.
.com, right. So you go to Fotella.com. One of the interesting things about it is that it doesn't even require an app.
That's what I like. Again, another hoop's gone.
Yeah, nothing to download and install.
Right.
You go to Fotella.com, you take a picture. That picture is, if we all take pictures, we'll all see them instantly.
Right.
There's none of this, upload all your pictures and then send me a link and I'll get them all together, and then 2 months later when you've forgotten you were even there, here comes this email that says, oh, remember we went to this?
Yeah, sometimes I don't remember the person's name or anything else.
Exactly.
Also, it's not the picture you wanted either.
Yeah.
So you're saying you could instantly get all your pictures that day, forward your people. So they're going to actually do your photo album for you, and then you can edit through it as you wish, basically.
Well, that's the next step, is making a collection, right? So if you're the bride and all of your friends took these pictures, somebody spilled wine, some child fell off a seat, you tripped over your trail, you don't want all of those pictures, right? And you don't want all the duplicates, because a lot of pictures are duplicates. So you take the best ones, and you create your collection, and you tell your story, and you add music, and you share it on Facebook or social media, and we think that that's a great way to.
And no one thought about this as far as you know. This idea, you got a patent and everything.
Well, we were thinking about this a couple of years ago. So we filed a patent 2 years ago, and we noticed that Snapchat was kind of in nearby spaces. It takes a while for patents to go through, and we hope that our Princeton lawyers are good ones. Mm-hmm. I think they are. We'll see what happens.
What do you do with this? What's your job?
But what
Walter
I've been doing recently is working between the two guys, and for instance, I had an AdWords ad up and run the numbers through to see what are people interested in finding that we're involved in. So I had the ad set up for .photo, and we chose a bunch of keywords to see when did we want to show that ad. And we did that for about 30 days, and we had the results of where people clicked, and we had it run through Google Analytics. And so now we know where they go when they click on our ad. We have now an idea of how they can follow along. And we haven't done anything like that for Fotella yet, because we're still finishing the interface. Brad's finishing the new interface. I mean, it works perfectly the way it is now, but we've had some focus groups that have said they'd like to see this or that in the interface, and some of those things will be put in for the next release of the front end. And that's still without having an app, although we have an app sitting in the background that we could release, but there's no need to right now. We want to see how the site does on its own. Mm-hmm. So when you go to the site on your phone and you click the little camera icon, it'll open up the native camera from your device. You take a picture, you'll get a little OK at the top, and you say, OK. And now it knows your GPS location, and it knows the time. And all of a sudden, on the page comes that photo you just took and all the photos that are near it in time and space. Mm-hmm. And so that is what we're aiming to now find a way. How will we track the things that are going on the site? And that's all part of what I'm in the middle of trying to figure out.
And you can sell advertising too, like let's say the wedding's on the Princeton campus, you can take photos of the surrounding the campus and everything, and that's where advertising.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to just say one of our plans is that we would market directly to, let's say, the manager of a band. So they're going to have a concert on the Princeton campus.
Richardson Auditorium.
Right. And now they can rent that space for a period of time, and then what'll happen is people would come in, they would post and tell them what to do, and they could take photos. All those photos would then be gathered together, and the person who rented the space would have control over all the photos.
Oh, ownership.
This is, I think, what Glenn was alluding to when he said, the bride may not want to see she fell down on her trail, So now that person can remove them and also create collections. Now each collection will have its own address, and he could send that collection out. But the other thing is in the back end, we have something that we were working on WordPress called Print Me. And if you now go to Fotella and you see a photo you like, you tap on that photo, it gets to be full screen. Now you look at the menu, in it, it says Print Me. And when you do a Print Me, it sends that photo through the back end to .photo. And you can print it on the same things that you can print
Synergy,
on.
cross-marketing.
Exactly, that's the idea here. So now if you had a t-shirt that the band said, look, let's take our t-shirt and put our band name on it. And when people come and they say, hey, I want to print that, it's my picture, I did a selfie.
Or my show.
Or your show, right, exactly. They can go and print it, they can make a book, they can make prints, they can make a t-shirt, they can make anything. And we could agree with the holder of that space, if it's a band manager, etc., what would you like to sell? Right. And then when they go through the back end, they make a profit. They make the majority of the profit on whatever sold, and we pick up the back end a few percent through .photo.
In a way, it's a win-win for everyone.
And they don't have to worry about, okay, I got to give it to the photographer. Here's my little stick and all these things.
Right.
It's all right there. They can gather it into their collection and do what they want with it, and have people who come in, if they're in that space-time, click to buy something, they get the profit.
And Brad, so you look like you're from California, really mellow and everything. But you're high tech. How do you fit in? Do they drive you crazy? Are you huddled in some like attic or in Titusville, New Jersey, making all this happen? What's the chemistry between you? Who gives who direction? I don't know much about tech stuff though.
We collaborate on, I throw something together and we look at it and go over it and redesign it and see what works and what doesn't.
And all three of you kind of have an understanding of what tech is and everything.
Yeah.
Well, the name of the company is Scorpio Photo. Does that give you a hint?
Scorpio will sting you though.
Oh.
Yes, that's the thing. No, we're all Scorpios. We all have to be born under the same sign, which that's very important
it.
technology.
Okay. Slow on that tech.
If I could say one thing about that, how do we work together? How does anybody work together? I think when I was younger, and you see this a lot when people are young, we still believe in this genius idea, right? Somebody's the genius, and they're going to show everybody.
Yeah, the light bulb comes up.
Yeah, I no longer believe in that. I think somebody has to start it, right? And then what you see happening is iterations. So we butt heads a lot. I mean, somebody says, well, we really need to do this. And then we start to work on it, and Brad says, well, that looks terrible. And then we'll try to fix that, and Walter will say, I don't like that, and we'll try to fix that, and I'll say, oh, we can't do that. We just keep working on it until we have the first iteration. Then we put it out there, and now the rubber meets the road, because do the people like it?
Right, no matter what you thought and everything.
You show it. I mean, we show stuff to Walter's daughter.
Down in Georgetown, she got her friends together, and we showed them the whole Fotella thing, and they went, oh, it should do this, and how come it doesn't have this, and I can't find that. Right. And we go, okay, and we start redoing the interface, which Brad's been working on now for a couple of months, and she's waiting for me to send her back, because she went through it with us and brought our proposed design to her focus group, and they said, that's good. So now she's waiting for us to release.
That's a segue to my next question. If you can answer, what were millennials? Because that's just a new species. I study them too. What were they like most about Fotella? What would maybe make them do the word of mouth thing?
Instant and easy.
Instant and easy. As a hassle-free is a big thing again and again and again. And I'm dating a lot of millennials, but me too, but they don't have any patience. If you don't give them what they want on that website, they're gone in 3 seconds.
Yeah, as it should be. Yeah.
And they are not necessarily somebody that'll take to a lot of advertising. So they were real happy that the site didn't have anything pushing at them, that it was up to them to put something up there. And they could go look at other places and say, where is your family from? Oh, they're from Minnesota. Right. They'd get on the Fotella site, go where it says, search, put in the town in Minnesota, and it would show the recent pictures, or they could put a date time in and say, here's the pictures that were taken near that area at this date and time.
But we'll work on all platforms then?
It's in the browser.
In the browser.
There's one other aspect of the site I want to explore. You seem to be getting at how you're going to monetize this, which is always the question. And one of the interesting things you can do with Fotella is you go to a new place, right? Now you're in a new GPS location, and you hit show me the photos, and you see what's going on here. Well, I happen to know that Rich Ryan over at Route One, US One newspaper.
I know he is.
And you know about his Princeton info page, right? And it gets a lot of hits because people want to know what's going on. Well, this is kind of like that. What's there to see in this area, right? Now talk about
The
advertising.
local niche. You could be in Morocco, Casablanca, whatever.
One of the terrible things about the web is some good thing gets going and then it starts just filling up, getting choked with advertising. You don't want to use it anymore. Right. But this is a place where advertising might make sense because if people are exploring the world that way, I'm in a new place, well, let me see what's happening here. Well, you might want to know about the businesses that you ought to visit.
No, the bike shop.
Yeah. So let me have a couple of pictures of those in here.
Right, instantly. And what I like, it's free. Instead of going to Facebook, which you can't always get, or something else like that, or go to TripAdvisor.com, and which is you have to scroll, whatever the word is, to find information. Yeah, this is more pictures. Kind of like Instagram in a way then too. Is Instagram a dirty word to say?
I've never heard of them.
But you can imagine somebody who has a business could actually take a photo each day of the front of their store, send it up to Fotella, and anybody coming to that area looking what's there would see that picture automatically. Nothing else to worry about.
That could be a coupon.
Could be anything. Yeah.
And if it's advertising that's too obnoxious, people would downvote it and eventually it would just kind of go away. Or you could throw it out and not see it at least.
It would happen naturally.
Yeah.
I know it's get away from me. I have to yell at people. Go on. We have 3 minutes.
But one of the interesting things about if you have a space that's yours is you can remove the pictures as well. And if you've sent something up to Fotella, it has a device ID or there's an association with it, so that if you took it and sent it up there and you don't like it, you can take it down.
Right.
So you're not stuck. It's not as if, okay, I put it up there and now that's all I can do. Oh my goodness, the rest of the world's going to see that. It's not going to work that way.
It's not going to be sticky either.
Yeah.
So you want to show an example? Oh my God, look at all this already.
Yeah, these are pictures that were taken in this area. There's your control room, right? I didn't take these pictures.
Already, there's a picture of Raya
Well, you do.
on control room, Princeton University campus.
Yeah, so anybody can see that.
And also, people want pictures. I don't want to read a lot.
Yeah, they can go there now and see the same thing we're looking at.
Right. Fotella. Okay, in the final 1 minute, what's the future for Fotella? Where can you be reached? If you have a bromance with you guys, if someone's fallen in love with you guys and they want to be involved, well, how are they going to get involved? How do they reach you and everything else?
Well, they can go to fotella.com, fotella.com. And if we don't have our contact information there, it is there. It's there. Okay, yes. That's good. Yes. So again, Fotella is our special project. It's available for anybody to use. It's free. We hope you'll try it out. And Dot Photo is also there. You can try it, and you can buy stuff there too.
And Fotella might shock the world. It started here at Princeton TV, and if you go public, I want to be involved. Will you come back? Walter, remind me. Come back. I'm trying to always follow up on businesses and where they go to, and if we haven't embarrassed you enough, come back and let's see where you are in 6 months.
Absolutely.
Okay, thanks.
So, Brad, Walter, and again, I finally met you, Glenn Paul, no Clancy. I'm sorry about that. From Clancy Paul, from anyone who's lived in town long enough, famous Clancy Paul computer shop. Thanks for coming, and come back in 6 months.
Thank you, Adam.
Fotella.com is the future.
That's great.
Welcome to my favorite part of Breezin with Bierman. Ew. Kurt's not getting anything lately. Kurt.
Do you want a lap dance?
That would be my nightmare.
I am not prepared for that.
Okay, come on, baby. Come on, baby.
Could you imagine being in your house? You hear like a shuddering of noise, and you wake up, and there's Kurt staring like weirdly to the corner of the room in like yellow underwear, and he turns around with that pasty body
and then
staring
you woke
at you.
up.
Yeah, that would be a nightmare. Vivian, Vivian, you look very perky these days. Anyway, we have the round table right now. We have
nice boobs.
Are you Sandra Jordan or Vicky Estrella? You're Sandra right now. You're your real person.
Sandra.
We have
Vicky's just a character.
Vivian Schneidman, who's been, there were some contract negotiation problems. You haven't seen Vivian for 2 months, but I think they've been resolved. I'm not sure. And we have the cynical, should I say, you should be part of the Zelda Fitzgerald Club of just, downward depression, Kurt Tazelaar. But anyway, issue 1, the state of the station, the state of Breezin with Bierman. Who wants to go first? Tackle this.
What a boring topic.
You come on the show and you still show.
What's issue 2?
What's the YouTube? What did you do? Do I need a translator? What did you just say?
I said, what's issue 2?
Now, about facts. It seems that facts are not important anymore in 2016. And
No.
from now on, it seems that that's the trend. No facts.
No
just
facts.
make it up.
But retroactively, facts are also not important. We've rewritten so much history to cover over the facts or just discard the facts because facts are not as interesting as pretend, because pretend is much
or
more
if the
interesting.
facts are too horrifying,
Or if
then
the
we
facts
better not
go
know or not
against
learn them.
the political position
Of that person, right? Right.
of whatever it is that the person's
So
agenda is.
we even want to erase history
Yes.
just because it might hurt somebody's feelings.
Yes.
I don't know.
And all that. So everything is turning into a surreal world because of our feelings.
Well, she did write. Manny Perry did write in the op-ed of one of the Sunday New York Times in defense of identity politics, saying it might go too far sometimes, but we need it because racism is still a fact and it affects people. But I don't know. You don't need safe spaces.
But you
That's
know,
kinda
in
stupid
my
on campus.
opinion, I think that she had lost credibility. Anything that she writes, I wouldn't even bother to read anymore because she already wrote something that was
Right,
pretty
but the
bad.
thing is that we are not 20 and we are already adults and we have already, finished our studies. Well, we've not finished our studies, but the kind of things
The
that
formal.
our formal educations, and we are already there. And for the people that those young impressionable minds, we don't count anymore. So the fact that we know something is really irrelevant to the rest of the world, because the rest of the world, they think this is our future and they want to mold those minds in a certain direction.
But I think that they are doing a disservice to those people.
Well, they're doing a terrible disservice,
because
but it
they are
doesn't.
not ready for the real world.
But there's a political agenda out there. Like
I like it when you two fight.
we're not fighting.
Fighting,
We're
we are
discussing.
just
Oh, come on,
talking.
fight.
Oh, that's what you want. But
Well, you're talking about campuses. And before you go on, there was a pushback, even on the Princeton campus. A lot of people said, a lot of students pushed back against having safe spaces and having trigger warnings and everything. But anyway, go on.
Here's something about a safe space at Princeton University that you guys might not know. Do you know that they have 23 inpatient alcohol recovery beds at Princeton University?
Well, if you look on Prospect Street on a Saturday night, they need them.
For
People in
their-
the bushes, yeah.
And now
No,
more than half their students are underage.
Right.
But yet they have those nice safe space beds for their students to recover from binge drinking.
Well, what are they supposed to do? Get arrested and go to the Mercer County holding tank?
Well,
or
how
something?
about if they're not supposed to drink? Don't they have an honor code?
I don't know. What people are going to drink no matter what, especially, when you're a night shift.
I hear you. But if we're going to be so safe and we're going to be so sanctimonious and we're going to be so honorable and it's going to be
And everything you have to really think your words because you don't want to hurt.
you don't
this,
want to
and you
hurt
don't wanna
somebody's
that, and you don't want
feelings.
So how does
that,
this
And
and
there's
get-
all these special classes and there's all these protected classes and everybody there is so delicate and everybody there is so special and everybody there is a minority and everybody that comes there is like this special flower.
And then they drink.
And then they drink when they're 17 or 18.
And some binge strains
It's
to the
very
point where...
23
contradictory.
beds.
But,
And
yeah.
the university
But is that-
says,
but how
the
is this
university
being a-
says it's not in the university, it's in those clubs that are not part of the university. So some things
But
are
the university-
part of the university when it's convenient to be part of the university, and other times it's not because it's not convenient to be part of the
But
university.
what's so bad about keeping it in-house? How's that like creating, I guess they need help and they're keeping it in-house and stuff. Where are they supposed to go, to Princeton House or something? Or I don't
No, it's not where they're supposed to go, where they're not supposed to go.
It's the hypocrisy.
The
It's just the
You think it
hypocrisy.
is hypocrisy, I see.
It's just the hypocrisy. They want to change the name of the Woodrow Wilson School because Woodrow Wilson said some bad things.
He threw a lot of blacks off, civil service blacks off.
Yeah, but we are talking at the beginning of the century,
Yeah. Anyway.
when everybody or most of the people were
To be
thinking
fair,
of that.
Woodrow Wilson was a bad racist even by the standards of that time.
Okay.
Now,
Then why did they
whether or
name
not they
this-
should erase his name from Princeton University, but it is important
Yeah,
to
but I don't
to
accept a
acknowledge.
student who applies for Princeton University and gets into Princeton University and then 2 or 3 years later decided that he doesn't like the school to be called Woodrow Wilson. Didn't he
Yeah.
or she know before.
Maybe not. That's
doesn't
part of the
like-
educational process.
Doesn't
No.
like the name, they just don't go.
I agree
Right.
that that's silly.
Do your homework.
Yeah.
Do your due diligence. They should have done their due diligence before they honored this man by naming a school out of him. I didn't have a single ancestor in this country at the time.
But there
that
weren't
Woodrow
minority
Wilson-
students at Princeton really until like the late 70s and early 80s. It's been really small minority. I guess a lot of the whites didn't care during that.
But, I don't know. I
But-
wasn't
but,
alive
but
then.
the point is, like, I wonder, and I'm gonna say, and I'm okay with that. Probably the reason that they didn't eliminate the name is because yes, Woodrow Wilson was racist, but he also was
Oh, he's an amazing president. He did
exactly.
a lot of things.
And he
from
was the president of the United States, and he was president of the university.
Governor of New Jersey.
So you put in a scale, and I see how much of
Right.
that. And besides all the alumni
Well,
donations.
that's a political
what I
alumni
learned?
factor. Yeah, political.
I
that's
learned-
the thing.
I
Because-
learned this thing about the electoral college, right? I learned that the southern states, the slave states, had a disproportionately large number of electoral votes because
They
of
counted
the-
3/5 or something.
they
Yeah.
counted slaves,
That's
and the
pretty impressive.
owners voted on behalf of their slaves who couldn't vote. I was talking to somebody about this, and I said, for the time, that was amazing. They understood that these were human beings, they couldn't vote, so they were giving the slave owners the right to vote on their behalf. And I was really amazed by this.
I don't know if they're really voting on the behalf.
Well, they didn't vote on their behalf.
Yeah, but it was a
Because they didn't
cynical
have a
ploy.
vote.
It was a cynical ploy by the South. They didn't really dig slaves as human beings, except when they could get
Of
more
course they
representation.
did. They let these women breastfeed their babies.
Yeah, but-
they had relationships with them and had children with them. They knew that they were human beings. We
But
are
they-
looking at it with our 21st century eyes and saying, oh, it was terrible, it was horrible. Of course
was.
it was terrible and horrible. But it was something that we can't understand because we didn't live then.
But I'm just saying, a particular point about electoral. They cynically use slaves to get more representation.
For the time, I think it was a very interesting way of looking at the political situation.
It was rank hypocrisy by trying to. And,
Well, but the point right
That's
now
the way
would
that
be
we look
is
at it now.
Now do we
Oh, what
need
was
it?
it? The North. We thought it was back then. The North. A lot of people thought it was.
Yeah, but
against
now
slavery.
in the 21st century, do we need
No,
that?
of course not.
Electoral
We need
college?
to- that's a separate issue. Of
Well,
course
some
not. We
people
have to
said
get
yes
to the-
because Trump got elected. Some people can't stand Trump. Said this is proof because he was actually the first third-party
Yeah,
candidate.
but this is I believe that it's probably the only country in the world that has this system because otherwise it's a popular vote.
It does give
And if you have more than two candidates, which happen in other countries and here too, but you don't know the names, besides of in this case Jill Stein and Gary Johnson, but apparently there were others.
Of course, yeah.
So there are more candidates, and normally what they do is that whoever gets the two bigger amounts of votes, then they go for a second round, and then it's between those two.
But-
and that's the end of the story. No this, no that, no
The electoral college, though, I mean, yes or no. One thing, though, states do get representation through it. On a given year, you might need Vermont or North Dakota's vote, so it does keep them in the game.
No,
I'm just saying another way to look at it.
But if the people really go out and vote, because there's that's nobody's fault that California has more population than there's nobody's fault that more population than Kentucky, but too bad. What people need to do is to go out and vote and don't sit down and expect somebody else to vote and then complain or fight or be happy or be
Right,
sad.
but
Just
but-
vote. And that's the way it is. Everybody vote, then that's the
If everybody had one vote,
majority.
and if you had like a pin and you could vote from your computer, and if you don't have a computer or you don't have a way to do it from home, then you could go to the polling station and vote or whatever. There should be different ways to do it, and then every person gets a vote, and you could vote for whoever you want.
I have 3 votes.
Well,
Okay.
well, one thing they're talking about proportional voting, like you could vote for your number 1 candidate, your number 2 candidate. That's another thing. So
No, and all the states should be the same too. They shouldn't
Well,
have
that's
this
America.
kind of ballots and this kind of
That's
ballots.
America.
Well, it's the president of the United
I know,
States
I know.
that are 52 states. They just unify.
that's why the
that and
computer
stop
scares
this
me. Accountability,
nonsense.
there can't be
Stop the
accountability.
nonsense. And another thing, that the idea to go to vote. I don't necessarily disagree
Oh,
on that.
that's voter suppression. There's no widespread fraud because of that. Let
You
people
know
vote.
what?
I know, but
Republicans are the only ones doing
You
that
know
right
what? I don't see what the big deal is about having an ID. You need an ID to go get Medicaid.
Yes.
So why can't those people have an ID
now.
to
Because
go
the practical
vote?
reality, a lot of people, for whatever reason, maybe they should, they don't have it, but it still shouldn't stop them
No, but
from
this
voting.
is-
And why do only the Republicans be the ones pushing that?
Because the
most of
Democrats are not decide
No,
just
this
not
is-
to
it's
fight
very
for that.
well
There's
known-
nothing wrong in
come
having
on.
an ID.
Look, Republican strategists do this because they
They
know
admit
that
it
it will
sometimes.
disproportionately dampen the African American vote because
And poor people vote.
Yeah,
Less
because
likely to get an ID,
They're less
have
likely to have
transportation.
cars and
Yeah, I
to have
know
a
the
driver's
reason
license.
behind what they do.
And so, yeah,
but the
it's
point
called voter
is,
suppression.
Yeah.
Yes,
It-
except that all of the entitlements that poor people get require an ID.
and
every
if they
single
get
one.
the requirement.
So if
why
you
don't
can
they
get your
vote?
entitlement, you have enough ID to go vote.
Not all poor people get entitlements, though.
No,
And,
yeah, but
and
a
then they
big
switch it. The
majority
ID
do.
has to be updated license. They play all these games with it
Well,
too.
then
It's
you
almost
could-
like
they
a
could-
weird
they
poll
could
tax.
change those
It's cynical.
requirements.
It's cynical
It is
and-
absolutely
No,
cynical.
well,
The same way
whether-
that gerrymandering is cynical.
Yeah, for
Well,
both
in
Democrat
the-
and Republican.
We know the
So they
reasons
should do it, but
behind.
they don't. But the point is,
We
it's voter
know the
suppression.
reasons behind, but the reality is that everybody should have an ID, not necessarily
No.
a passport, but everybody. This is the only country where people don't have an ID.
You don't need
I
an
mean,
ID.
an ID is mandatory. You have an accident, that you're in the street. Nobody
knows who
nobody
you
knows
are.
who you are. Are you serious?
We can still go to the emergency room and get
Yes,
treatment.
and then what? Who are you?
Actually, no.
How many times does that happen? I mean, come on. If you're homeless, you die, then you go to pauper's grave. But you eventually will say, well, I don't have any ID on me, but I'm Jim Smith and I live at so-and-so place. I don't think
And
it's a
they
huge
can
problem.
also make up the name.
Yeah, but
And
I don't
things
think it's
like
a
that
huge problem.
I think that there's no
I don't-
wrong in Ask for ID. What they have to do is unify the ID for voters.
That's not going to happen. Well, that's really unrealistic. That's
Well,
just like
because
getting
for
rid of the
example,
electoral
in
college.
Mexico, people have an electoral vote. A voter ID is plastic. It's not a piece of paper. It has a picture. It has date of birth. It has everything.
Doesn't
in that.
impress me. I don't care.
And is an electoral ID, so that person is entitled to vote. And that doesn't have an expiration date. You know why? Because the person is there at 18 years old. And so it's already a person that
what was
is
the-
eligible to vote. And that's the ID.
It's
So-
still against voter suppression, so we shouldn't have IDs. And let's just let people
well,
vote.
if you don't fix the problem, then you have to do just.
Are you
give
going to start a
IDs to the
national
corporate.
campaign? I mean, we can't even get people to fill out the census. So I don't know. When they did it just with 10 questions and they mailed it to your house, there's only a 50% return. So
Because everything here is, oh, you have the freedom of, so you don't do it. So some things, at some point, if they are really important, you have to make them mandatory. It doesn't mean that it's not democracy.
well,
It should
I didn't
be
say that. We have
mandatory.
insurance and
Why?
it's mandatory. I think we should have
Because
one
I
in
mean,
healthcare.
paying taxes is
It's because in
mandatory.
this country, you
You have
get nothing. Whatever you do, whatever the government requires of you, you get
What are
nothing
you talking
back.
about?
You get
Yeah.
nothing back. You
That's
get
a
nothing-
broad brush
No,
statement.
you get nothing back.
And
What
go-
do you get?
Well, I want to say that in a second, but going back, you have to prioritize. Some things are more important to really have mandatory, like minimums, like a mandatory insurance. And I'd like to see single-payer health care. The voting thing, which would be hard to do, is lower on my list. In a perfect world, people would be more responsible and get their ass and get a photo. I agree, but it doesn't really happen. Anyway, what do you mean, what do you get?
What do you get?
Well, we used to get, one, the roads are paved pretty well. Two. They
You
have
mean
kept
those
it
roads that are like
from
$15
the
to
macro,
drive on?
macro or the mini, macro or the mini.
Anything.
One, we've only had since 9/11 about, I think, 94 people died due to terrorism, mostly from homegrown terrorists. Now, since I'm really involved and I have a secret, portal to what's going on, they've done a great job with our tax money keeping us safe. That's on the macro. Two,
Show me another country where they've had 94 homegrown terrorist attacks.
oh my God, Turkey. I think England might be out there. France is more, of course, now. Russia, but they suppress that. China, who knows? I mean, it goes on and on.
Those cases in England and in France were not homegrown. Those were all.
They were French citizens.
Some of them were French citizens, but they were all North Africans.
Okay, but I'm going. What else do we get? You got to help me here on the mini or tax
Help
dollar.
you? Yeah.
Tax money? Roads.
What about Montgomery roads, schools? I think
Services?
services, schools.
Montgomery schools where they don't even
Infrastructure
have a lab
works.
in honors biology.
Are
No
you going to
labs.
tell me these aren't good schools
no
in
labs.
Montgomery?
No labs
No
in
labs?
science class. No labs.
And with all the Chinese and Indian students?
The Chinese and Indian students are good at memory. Well, Indians are different, but Chinese, no labs because labs are hard. You might have to think. So you just memorize.
But
This is what I'm paying my $13,000 a year taxes for. No labs.
Well, I don't know if that's the government's fault. It's more, again,
it's local
local.
government.
Yeah.
Local government, you have to really pay attention.
Yeah, that's
to that.
America, unfortunately. Everything, why do we
And you know
cons-
what's happening in Princeton now what's the name of those barracks? I call it the barracks in Harrison Street that they are going to
the barracks, barriers?
barracas in Spanish. That they are going to do housing there, Princeton University.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have the Avalon Bay, and we have all these like an injection of more kids going to school, and now with the charter school, the public schools are going to lose millions of dollars, and they want to restore some buildings because of the affluence of more students that they're gonna get. It's gonna be a big mess here in Princeton by 2018.
What kind of big
Mark
mess?
my words.
What, they're going to riot? Charter schools?
Oh no,
they're
the
gonna be
taxes are
rioting?
going so up.
They're high enough already.
Well, they're going to go more because they almost in school. Oh, Princeton,
Then
Princeton
let's
public
sell the house and go to
schools.
Mississippi then. That's all I can tell you.
Or Canada.
Canada. Oh, I'm not going to
Or
Canada.
Portugal.
We're going to have civil
Portugal
war.
sounds
Yeah,
nice.
sounds good.
Too much. Anyway, my more interest in the state of the station. Does anyone ever talk to you about what you do here?
What is the state of the station?
I don't even.
Well, I can
It's a
tell
cynical
you
thing.
as a person who has a show here, I
have
had a
2 minutes, hurry up.
a guest the other day that he had lived in Princeton, I believe he said 15 years. Let's put 10 in case that I'm wrong, but at least 10. He said he's Hispanic because my show is in Spanish. Oh, my hair.
She can't get to the
Oh.
point worse than I can.
So he said, oh God. Anyway, he said
I
that.
can't bear the gray, dear. Do
that-
something.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to cover.
Okay.
So he said that why is that those were his
You should wear
his
Adam's
words.
wig.
Why is that I have never knew that this exists? Those were his words. So people do not know that the station exists.
Well, I blame Kurt. 'Cause
Now
you-
let's see what happens
And
in
Vivian.
2017.
Could
Are you
say-
going to stay on Breezing with Bierman, or do you have philosophical
Are
differences
you
with
ready
people
for
here?
the next season?
Are you ready for the next 2017 season? Or do you have philosophical differences? You're not getting paid enough. What?
Well,
In the
I'm
following-
getting paid as much as everybody else. I can't complain about that.
Do you have anything animosity towards against anyone here?
No,
Do you see Stacey Hoffer as competition?
no, I don't.
You don't. Your makeup looks quite good today too.
Thank you.
You should have done mine. Okay, that has
Next
been
time.
next time. That's been an exciting roundtable. Kurt again did a mannequin type thing. Had not much to say.
I think your wife. We're going to break down the time spent talking, and we have a motor mouth over here.
Whoa,
Thank you.
anti-woman.
Thank
You're
you.
very anti-woman.
Well, that's very trendy also these years.
And stuff. And that has been our, I don't know what we said. Hopefully we made some kind of sense. We're coaching. That's been the roundtable. We'll be back in 2017.
Yep.
Beware. Ruff, ruff, ruff. Hi, Adam Bierman, Princeton TV. I've often wondered, where do all these people come from? What are they doing? What are their expectations? Are they tourists, townies, university students, the dispossessed? Who knows? It's my wife. Oh, what a great thing. You're uptown, my daughter. You're a coward, Ava. So many levels. Princeton used to be a sleepy, settled town you had to get to. You had to go through the farms and forests and everything. Have you ever heard of Princeton TV or me? I'm not talking to you anymore. No, if someone's local. I'm going to ask them. This is a rhetorical question. Have they ever heard of Princeton TV or me? I'll get in the middle.
Great town.
Have you ever heard of me or Princeton TV?
Yes.
Princeton TV or me?
Okay. Princeton TV.
Oh, that's you never heard of my show.
No.
Okay.
We don't live in Princeton.
Oh, okay. Have you ever heard of Princeton TV or me?
No.
Why am I talking? Okay, I'll talk to you anyway because you're eating ice cream and you're a good sport. How's it going though? Making money, spreading the word?
We sometimes get generous donations. Sometimes people take things for free. We have registered a handful of people who are very young but very smart.
What's one thing you do your parents don't even know about when you come uptown? You can make it G-rated.
I don't know.
I like that. Takes the fifth. You don't live here.
Well, I grew up here.
I did too. Where did you go to school? When did you graduate high school?
1977.
78. I met a lot of people actually from where I grew up. Some don't remember me, some do. Only one person knows about Princeton TV. No one knows about my show. So, should I go into a funk and be depressed, or should I soldier on?
So I work for an alcohol data analytics company, and that's when I was talking to your brother. So the guy who was like our chief scientist lives in Colorado, so he has had the same idea, like bringing in information from legal distributors that are selling marijuana from their point of sale systems, and then aggregating the data and looking for trends and
Interesting.
It's really happy that we have such an active and vibrant community, including you, Adam, and your wife.
Call me good looking, maybe not vibrant, good looking. How do you feel about me right now? What vibe am I giving you?
Crazy vibes.
Thank you, I love it. I love it.
He goes like coward.
Wait, do I go out?
Stay. So do you have to ever pay for anything? You're so famous. You're so well known. Do you have to pay for a drink? Do you have to pay for dinner? Are you like a celebrity?
Well, I am sort of, but I do have to pay sometimes.
You shouldn't do that. No, really. Yeah.
See, I'll try and see if I can get away with that, but I think, that, I don't mind. I do have to tell you something. As you know, I'm 90.
Right.
And the other day, a lady stopped me and she said, I hear you're 91. And I couldn't believe that I said this without thinking. And I said, actually, I'm only 90.
Are we do you like being part of, is this kind of passe? Are we part of the masses just coming uptown? Is it really cliche what we're doing, getting in the sun, hanging out? In this socialist kind of town, we're kind of socialist now. You might be seeing two right wing.
That's correct. I agree. I'm more traditional.
Traditional. What does that mean?
Traditional?
Like you put your underwear on correctly?
I love the Witherspoon Grill because I'm right next door.
Location.
But the location. But actually, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, they have happy time. And that's from 3 to 6.
Is that some kind of sexual thing? You mean happy hour?
Happy hour.
Oh, I thought you meant happy ending or something. Okay,
no,
anyway.
happy hour.
Hey, that's good too if you want that. No.
It's getting more crowded, but it's good. I mean, it's within walking distance. You can go to a lot of places.
Right.
All the nice restaurants, the cafes, the shopping center, where there is a sporting.
I grew up here, so.
Oh, you look familiar. What's your name?
Rachel. My name is Rachel Sieverts. I lived down on Prospect Avenue.
When did you graduate high school?
You're really going to ask me that?
I graduated from Princeton High, yes. Okay, no, we can make up
78.
78.
Seriously?
We're getting too old. I don't even recognize. You look kind of from Adam, Bierman, I don't know.
I don't know.
Plus it's 78. Hey, do you want to help with the immigrants? Sandra, Benga, there's an immigrant, there's a Spanish speaker that looks over there. We might do it. You can plug your show and interview in Spanish.
I'm from Prague and I live in Plainsboro, and it's kind of plain, so that's why we come here. It's just a small town, but compared to Plainsboro, I feel like I'm in Manhattan.
Where are you from originally?
Oh yeah, Japan.
Japan?
Yes.
What brings you to Princeton?
Sorry?
What brings you to town, Princeton?
Anything.
Oh, I see. Do you want to know anything? I know about everything about Princeton. You can ask me any question, I can tell you about Princeton. Where to go, where to eat, where you can buy things illegally. No, they're going to buy that. It's almost like hunting, though. You have to see the person who gives that body language like they're open to the conversation.
I'm living here in Princeton, and I come here to read the newspaper. And it's basically like an outdoor cafe. You watch people walk by and read the newspaper.
It is kind of European.
Exactly.
Are you German?
Originally, yes.
Originally, no, it's because they Deutsch. But yeah, it kind of has that European feel. I've seen you all over town. I think you've been growing up. But you don't know about Princeton TV?
No.
No. Yeah, what's that say about Princeton TV? I'm on TV, which is supposed to be like the second god, but I'm basically in a vacuum where, I don't exist. All my skills and talents. I wonder why I have any testicles anymore. I don't know. unless you were living under an anthill in the 1980s, there was no way you could not have heard the MTV parrot hits of Lisa, Lisa, and Colt Jam. I Want You Back, I Cried All Night, Head to Toe. And now we're here with the iconic freestyle artist herself, Lisa Velez, aka Lisa, Lisa, and Colt Jam, in concert, a Johnny Rossi production.
We are here to see the queen of freestyle, Lisa Lisa, thanks to TNT disc jockeys, John Rossi, TNT Entertainment disc jockey, John Rossi. He's brought the king of freestyle back in February 2016. Now he's bringing you the queen of freestyle, Lisa Lisa, on Thanksgiving Eve, and it's a big celebration for anyone who's a lover of 70s, 80s, and 90s music. Like everything, Dolce Vita Media has been here promoting, helping bring entertainment and all kinds of promotion to businesses and community all around Mercer County and throughout the state of New Jersey.
I grew up listening to every single song, singing every single song. So
You gotta prove it to me. Name 2 or 3 songs.
oh, well, I'll just tell you my favorite, okay? Because I can't sing, so you know. All Cried Out, okay?
All Cried Out.
All cried out over you. Oh.
If you could only wait, oh, I don't know. Chase the feeling I feel, I'm so afraid of
We're here with iconic performer Lisa, Lisa, and Colt Jam. You're the soundtrack of the 80s and on up, and what are you going to give the audience tonight?
I'm going to make you feel like you're back there on that 80s stage, so I'm going to give them the hits.
What is your favorite Lisa, Lisa song?
All Cried Out.
Head to toe, I love you. Lisa, Lisa.
Thank you.
Princeton TV.
Introduce to you, the queen of freestyle, Lisa, Lisa.
Happy New Year and welcome to What's Trending with Raya, first one for 2017. So I hope you had a great holiday season, and let's get this year started with our What's Trending items. So our first one is the lampsies. So if you are looking for something crazy unique for your house this new year, check out these cool table lamps. Lampsies are lamps that come in tons of different styles, like they have landmarks, animals, music, Star Wars, and some Pokemon characters as well. You can change the lamp colors. They have 8 different colors by just touching a button there, and then you can change the lamp colors. And you can also set it all to like show all those 8 colors. These lamps are a little pricey, so definitely it's an investment. It's $99 each, but they're on sale oftentimes, so check it out. Reach out to me on all those social media platforms, and I'll tell you some of the other details. So we love our dogs, right? So we want to keep them safe and sound. So, and one of the scariest thing is to, let them out at night and then you cannot find them. You can only see the jaggle or hear the jaggle of their collars, right? And that sometimes can get scary. So this LED dog collars comes in a bunch of different colors, and they let you see exactly where your dog is. So I really love this product because I have my 2 dogs as well. And they help also drivers to see your dogs when they run around. And also, grab your own and start the new year right with your fair friends with this Paw Prime's LED dog collars. So it's safe to say that we've all had a crazy year for 2016, right? So if you're having a hard time chilling out and de-stressing, try calm.com. So it's a website that pairs nature escapes with guided meditations. So some of the meditations are paid, but if you scroll down, there are some free options. Plus, just looking at this naturescapes are really relaxing already. So that's already a plus. So you can gaze at gorgeous mountains. They have raindrops falling off leaves, a crackling fireplace, and tons more. It's so relaxing. So my favorite part here, because it's a website, you can pull it up at work or put your headphones and chill out for a minute or two, and you can still look like so busy at work, right? So try calm.com. Our next item is flasks to go. So flasks are fabulous. So I believe everyone should have, should carry a flask in case they need to get rid of those pesky feelings, right? So, but hard metals, the usual flasks are tougher to sneak in, right, into places. But, because they're hard metals, so they're hard. So Flasks to Go has solved this problem. So their foldable flasks are just $9.99 and are made of BPA-free plastic. So the smoother edges are easier to hide, and once the flask is empty, it's super tiny. And you know what? Cheers for all, right? You can drink whenever you are. Our next item is our Princeton-centric item for this month. First, for 2017, I am featuring the Princeton University Art Museum. So this museum is one of the nation's leading art museum with a collection of 92,000, yes, you hear me right, 92,000 artworks. They have ancient to contemporary. They concentrate on geographically on Mediterranean region, Western Europe, China, the United States, and Latin America. This is also one of the few university museums of truly universal scope in its collection. So they are delighted to share these collections to the public. So they have their collection, their exhibitions, they have educational activities and social opportunities. The museum is also committed in advancing Princeton's teaching and research missions while serving as a gateway to the university. Visitor come, they get interested to the university through the art museum, and then they end up enrolling or moving here. The museum offers a respite from the rush of daily life, a revitalizing experience of extraordinary work of art and opportunities to deeply into the study of art. So the good thing about the Princeton Art Museum is that the admissions is free. They are open multi-days, almost every day. And you need to just put 2 to 3 hours of your time to really see all the collections of Princeton Art Museum. So that has been our first What's Trending for this year, 2017. I hope you had a good time, and we'll have more to go, 11 more What's Trending for this year. And that's it. I'll try to see you again next month. That's been What's Trending with Raya for our New Year's edition. Baba Booey to all.